That's tremendous. Appreciate that, Jake.
Suck a dick.
Hello YouTube, Cheftronic here. Today I wanted to talk and comment on the Ben Askren and Jake Paul fight. Also, I wanted to react to some moments that happened during the press conference that I found to be absolutely hilarious. This fight is definitely exciting because if you're like me, you want to see Jake Paul get knocked the fuck out. We're going to see what happens. I'm not sure if it will happen, but I'm about 90% sure it will happen. Let's talk about the two guys that are involved in the fight. Let's start with my guy, Ben Askren. He is a MMA fighter, but more importantly, he is an Olympic wrestler and was a brilliant amateur wrestler. He made the jump from wrestling into MMA and did pretty well. He did really well, actually. He has a record of 19-2 with one no contest, and I think the no contest was like an eye poke or something. So 19-2, and you got to think if you're going 19-2 in mixed martial arts. You're fighting real guys who are well-rounded. Some of them are strikers. Some of them are karate guys, jiu-jitsu guys. These guys come to fight, and they're very well-trained. MMA fighters are some of the most athletic people in the world. I don't think anyone can debate. Oh, there goes my phone. I don't think anyone can debate that these guys are real athletes and could pretty much beat up anybody around them at any time, including your football players and boxers. And you know what I mean? I think these are the real deal all around fighters. So yeah, so Ben Askren, he's one of those guys. He's also a father, and he seems like a humble guy, and he's humble and a chill guy. I just think he has a leg up intellectually and experience-wise, endurance-wise. We'll see what happens though. He also runs a wrestling studio for kids, and a little known fact about him is that he is a disc golf champion, frisbee golf, whatever the heck that means. And actually, I was just looking up his stats in that, and he's crushing that too internationally. So just another thing to add to his list. So Ben is fighting Jake Paul, and I'm going to assume that you're watching this on YouTube, so you already know who Jake Paul is. Jake Paul is a vlog style. I don't know if he still does that, to be honest. He used to do it with Team 10 and a whole bunch of yes men and yes girls that used to live in the same house as him. It was brutal. I don't suggest going back and watching those if you haven't seen them. They're not worth it. He's also a rapper, in quotations, and he is definitely a scam artist. I don't know if you guys saw any of the videos about him promoting these independent financial wealth sites where he would, if you followed his like 10 steps to financial independence, you would be, a famous rich YouTuber, and all of that stuff was a scam. All those websites that he was pushing are now closed. There's no way that you get your money back. That's a scam. Now he's a boxer, in quotations as well. And he's got 3 boxing fights under his belt, 2 of which are actually professionally sanctioned, I think. One of them was against Deji. That was his first fight. And I don't think he had turned professional yet. Deji is KSI's brother, who's another YouTube influencer. Deji is not a fighter, much smaller than Jake Paul. It just wasn't a fair fight, and it was ridiculous. The second fight was against another guy named Anson Gibb. Again, another guy who can't fight to save his life, another YouTuber. Just ridiculous. You're fighting a guy who has no fight experience. So that's his second fight. But I do believe that fight was professionally sanctioned. And then the third fight was against a 3-time NBA dunk champion, Nate Robinson, who I would guess up to this point had never fought in his life. He doesn't look like a fighter. Nate, if you know Nate Robinson or seen anything about Nate Robinson, he's a funny, talented athlete with a really good sense of humor. He's kind of like Shaq with the humor in the NBA. He's like a good personality. But he's much smaller than Jake Paul. And just by watching him fight, you could tell there's a moment right at the beginning of that fight where Nate Robinson got hit. And you could tell he had never been hit before in his life. So he was just in shock. And we're talking about Jake Paul now, who has been training in boxing for 3 years. So anybody that he's fighting, he's got a little bit of a leg up on because he's fighting people that don't fight. Like if he was to fight me, he'd probably knock me out. I don't know how to fucking box, man. I can't box to save my life. All right, well, let's do a quick tale of the tape here between these two gentlemen. We'll start with Jake Paul. Jake Paul, in his last few fights, was fighting at 5'11". I think he's a growing boy still, though, and he's being listed at Boxcom at 6'1" for this fight. And I did get a chance to see him standing next to Ben Askren in the pre-fight press conference, and it does look like he is a few inches bigger than Ben. So we'll give him the 6-1 on that. Jake Paul's been fighting roughly between 170 and 200 pounds. I would imagine Jake Paul would be closer to 200 pounds for this fight, just for the fact that he'll need some extra pack behind that punch to actually knock down a guy like Ben who has a good chin. His reach advantage for Jake Paul is not that much. It's a couple inches. 4 inches, though, that makes a big difference in boxing. Jake Paul's reach is 76 inches, and I think that's, I don't know if it's going to play a part. I think Ben's going to probably get close. So I don't know if that reach advantage will be much of a game changer or anything. For the fighting record, I included all fights, MMA, non-sanctioned, and just regular sanctioned boxing fights because I just feel it's just a better way to do it because both guys have fought. So I didn't want to exclude one of them because they didn't fight professionally in boxing. So Jake Paul is fighting records at 3-0. And we'll see. Hopefully it's 3-1 at the end of this one. Ben Askren, let's look at him. He's 5'11". He's not growing anymore. He's 36 years old. He's done growing. He's 5'11". Ben Askren as well has jumped and fluctuated in weight. As an MMA fighter, he had to fight in different, I think he fought in 2 different divisions in MMA. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know that in MMA it's pretty normal to be jumping up and down in weight and fluctuating in weight between fights. I imagine he'll come in heavier than 170.5 as well for this fight, maybe closer to 190 or 195. Ben is going to be lacking in the reach department, but by 4 inches, so he's coming in with 72 inches. And of course, one of the most important things in this fight, I think, is going to be the fighting record because, Ben has the experience. Ben has 19 wins against real fighters. Okay, so I mean, Jake has 3 wins, 2 knockouts, 3 knockouts. I don't even know, but those guys were not fighters, man. Ben's fought and won 19 fights against career fighters, with 2 losses. Both of those losses were in the UFC, and 1 no contest, which was an eye poke. So I'm not sure the stats really mean much in this. I honestly think that Ben's going to get close, and just dirty box because and will be able to import his will on Jake because he knows how to grapple, he knows how to keep a guy in a position, and also Ben could take a punch. He couldn't take Masvidal's knee necessarily, but I don't think anybody in the world could. That was one of those perfect 1 in a million shots, like McGregor Aldo shots that you don't see very often. So I don't think he's going to be facing anything like that. That's why I give Ben the advantage in this. We're going to see what's going to happen. I'm excited. Let's watch some clips. I'm really excited to see some clips of this press conference. Let's go.
Doing good. Thank you.
What is this kid wearing? Let's look at this guy's pants. Pink pants. They look like My Little Pony pants. With the nice tassels on the side.
Coming out.
Fancy. Thanks for coming out. Such a cool guy. Look at the chains. Bling bling, motherfucker.
With that video and with what you've been doing beforehand. Jake, I'll start with you. You've kind of indicated that at the end of the day, your boxing skills you feel are better, and that ultimately that's the difference.
No, 100%. I mean, this guy's striking is that of a grandma. Quite literally, if I put a grandma in against Jorge Masvidal, she would have lasted longer than...
Okay, so just a couple things already. This is the big argument against Ben versus Jake. The first is that Jake Paul's striking is so significantly better that Ben doesn't stand a chance. And I think this is completely wrong for 2 reasons. The first reason is that nobody that Jake Paul has fought previously had a chin. None of them had a chin. Also, none of them were fighters. Okay? None of them were fighters at all. Okay? I'm not saying Ben is a great striker. I don't think he needs to be a great striker to beat Jake Paul. Honestly, I don't. I think he just needs to play his game and get him in a corner and dirty box him, and I think he'll win. But for Jake Paul to say that he can't strike at all is pretty crazy. The guy's been fighting for, I don't know, his entire life, as opposed to Jake Paul's 3 professional boxing fights. We'll see.
You're gonna see the difference of a wannabe fighter, you know, a guy who choked in the Olympics, a guy who choked in the UFC.
Jake, have you ever been in the Olympics? Have you ever been in the UFC? Have you ever fought a real boxer? I'm pretty sure that's no to all three of those. So shut the fuck up.
You know, he kind of came up in his brother's shadow. He was trying to follow his brother's footsteps.
This is a good move on Ben's part. Because you know what's going to piss off fucking Jake Paul the most? Is to be constantly in the shadow of Logan. You know? Oh, Jakey, little Jakey. You know? I'm pretty sure he had somebody give him some strategic advice about this. I think it's perfect, man, to be honest. I think if there's one thing that's going to get under Jake's skin, it's the little brother.
There's a lot more talented and larger following. Those type of
You literally went on your Instagram and asked people for roasts. You asked people for roasts on your Instagram, and that was the top comment, was say that his brother is better than him.
Is he?
Oh, you're rattled. I can tell. Look at his face. Look at his face. The fact that Jake even knows that Ben did that is hilarious to me. And if it's true, it's awesome. What a great way to troll. You know, Ben's not the kind of guy that is used to shit talking people. I guess he did a little bit in the MMA there at the end, but he's a fighter. You know, he's not a huge fucking shit disturber. I know he is to a degree. People might argue me in the comments about that, but he is a little bit of a shit disturber. But Jake Paul is just a world-renowned troll. You know, so I think he's getting it back, and I think I like it.
That's like calling Kylie Jenner Kendall Jenner.
No, it's not. No.
Like,
I don't know anything about them. Anyway, so...
Yeah, you know what? I think Ben probably doesn't even know who those fucking people are, to be honest. I don't think he knew half the people Jake fought in the past. I know that he knows that they were pieces of shit and like they couldn't fight, but other than that, I love you bring up the fucking Jenners and Kardashians. You're such a fucking dork, man.
I would love to be Logan. Logan's a great kid.
Also, kid? Isn't he your big brother, Jakey? I think he's your big brother there. I think you need to get your facts right, son.
When Logan's little brother called me out...
Perfect, Logan's little brother.
You know, I thought about it.
You actually called me out. Let's get the facts straight. You called me out the week of the Nate Robinson fight, so continue.
Smart move, Ben. Capitalizing on a moment. You know, Ben's smart. He's looking for a payday, man. He's getting paid more for this fight than he did in any of his UFC fights and any other MMA fights. I mean, why wouldn't you fucking call out Jake Paul? Especially if you know you can beat him.
Okay, so when Logan's little brother called me out the week of the
Logan's little brother.
Nate Robinson fight, I said, sure, more than happy to, right? I like to fight. I've been fighting for a long time. Never boxing, but I've done wrestling, mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu. And, you know, I thought, well, from his angle, what's he doing? And, you know, I asked some of my kids in my academy, well, what's this guy all about? And they said, he's a bully, he's a dick. And so I think his angle was like, he's thinking, who's the easiest guy that I can pick that'll give some validity to my name? It's like, I'm going to pick the guy who just had a surgery, who's a
If I wanted to pick the easiest guy, I would have picked Dylan Dennis.
Well, we don't
Dylan Dennis here to sign the contract. You actually had the balls to sign the contract. So if I wanted the easiest guy...
So you just gave credit Ben Askren for having balls. Nice. I don't know about this Dylan Dennis guy. I don't know much about him. I don't know, to be honest.
Dylan.
Jake, you did pick Dylan. We know that. I've already informed that. You picked Dylan. I know he wouldn't do it.
You just said I picked you.
Oh, so Dylan Dennis... So Jake offered Dylan Dennis the fight, and Dylan Dennis refused, and then Ben stepped in to take the fight. So Jake's just fucking flopping this one.
Because Dylan wants to say yes, dumb.
You choking on your words, Bubba? You choking on your words, Bubba?
You picked Dylan. Dylan wants on the contract. Therefore, you pick Dylan, so you have to pick the next person.
Oh, I see.
But you said I picked you first. You said if I wanted the easiest person, it would have been Dylan. But you're saying I picked you as the
Because
first person.
Dylan wants on a contract. I'm trying to laugh at you stuff.
What the fuck is he doing? Such a little shit. You know what people, when they do that stuff? When they're like mocking somebody, it's when because they have nothing to say. Like Jake has literally nothing to say here, so he pretends he's choking.
So anyways, like this is typical bully behavior, but obviously sometimes...
It's true.
This is the fucking fight game. This is the fucking fight game.
Oh my god.
Pussy ass bitch. This is the fucking fight game.
Jake. You fought 3 times. None of them were fighters. Not one of them was an actual boxer. This is the fucking fight game. Dude, you've never been in a fight. This is fucking awesome. This is so good.
Yeah, I'll bully you around just like I'm gonna bully you in the ring. Shut the fuck up. You sound like a middle schooler. Oh, he's bullying me. Shut the fuck up.
Look how flustered he looks here. Look how flustered he is. And what's with the fucking hair, bro? And the beard. The beard makes him look a little bit bigger and tougher. God. I don't know if you guys have figured it out yet, but I fucking hate Jake Paul.
I'm talking to your mentality. You're not gonna bully me. That's not gonna happen. And you know, like, Jake, if you and I ran into each other in the back alley in Las Vegas, and I wanted to
Do it right now. Do it right now then.
That's Jake, yeah. Do it now. Do it now. You think Ben Askren's going to risk his massive fight contract to, you know, like all the money he could possibly earn from boxing this your silly ass by fighting you on stage at the fucking press conference? You're an idiot. And it just shows the distinct difference and the age gap between these two guys.
We're running into each other right now.
someone's stopped. You got like 27 people.
Let's go, bro.
Big thing. And what actually happened is actually after my Nate Robinson fight, there was probably
The basketball player? The fight against the basketball player? Okay.
70 people calling me out, wanting to fight me. And there was probably 6 people that made sense to fight. Bisbing, McGregor, Diaz.
Bisbing, McGregor, and Diaz would fucking kill you. If they legitimately reached out to you and wanted to fight you, you know, they probably said something in their Twitter feed like, I'd love to knock him out. But they would never fucking sign a real contract against this guy. Not until they're fully retired from the UFC. I mean, that's when it makes sense. But why ruin a legitimate UFC fight career by fighting Jake Paul while you're still in the UFC? Does that make any sense? Like, I guess Bisping's retired. Yeah, but I think isn't he commentating for the UFC? I'm not sure. Maybe down the road, Bisping would fucking kill Jake Paul. I'd love to see that.
And people will see, I really haven't even gotten to show my boxing ability in my last 2 fights because they've both been like 4 minutes total, or like 7.
It's because you're fighting people that don't know how to box, man. You think you're gonna go 2 rounds or 1 round with a real boxer? They're gonna take you to the fucking limit. They're gonna take you all the way if they don't knock you down in the first 2 rounds, and you're gonna be fucking exhausted.
I haven't even shown the world what I can do. That's why.
Jakey, we're so excited to see what you can do. The whole world is waiting to see what you can do.
When you have the ace up your sleeve and like,
Hey, I was wondering, your
What's the ace up your sleeve? Fucking herpes? Like, I'm pretty sure those are little herpy dots coming out of your hand, buddy. Ace up my sleeve. The ace up your sleeve is that you have 13-year-old kids around the world that worship you, so you never have to get a real job. That's the ace up your sleeve.
leaders that you brought to my room, like, do you pay them as coaches or groupies, or do you just give them like sloppy seconds and social media shit?
Oh yeah, this is funny. So, so basically they're in Vegas and they're doing pre-fight press stuff, and then Jake comes into this room where Ben is sitting with his wife, with Jake's with his whole crew, and then they're just taunting Ben Askren.
Instagram, ask people for some fucking jokes. Hilarious, buddy. You look old as fuck. Stand up straight when I'm talking to you, bro. Slouching like a bitch. Hey, bring it in, guys. Let's get it good, baby. Hey, how many days? 22. How many days? 22. How many days? 22. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's definitely over the 6-person bubble limit, right?
yeah, I give them a ton of dry over the pants hand jobs.
Good to know, buddy. Good to know that you give those guys hand jobs. Amazing. Moving on.
Maybe say your joke again and we can all remember to laugh. Say it one more time, we can just all laugh afterwards, just so you feel good about yourself. Say it one more time for us. No?
Do you have a question?
Fans that they're real fighters. It's tremendous. It's,
Yeah.
You know, it takes an act. It takes a show. He's done that. He says pulling the fire truck, eating rice and chicken and shit like that. I'm in this for life. That's tremendous.
Ben's got a good point, man. You know, you can put on a show and you can fight YouTubers, but you got to fight the real competition to call yourself a fighter. You can't fight Deji and Nate Robinson and that other guy who's like, I don't even know, and call yourself a fighter, man. Like, it doesn't hold up, you know?
You know, you can build your skyscraper in New York as high as you want without tumbling over someone else's skyscraper. So why are people mad that I'm successful? You know, build up your own skyscraper.
People aren't mad that you're successful, I think. I think they're just mad because they hate you. Because you're what's wrong with, first of all, with men, generally. And your attitude is so shit, you know? I can never hate on somebody for being successful. But it's how they carry themselves, you know? It's how you define yourself, how you treat the people around you. It's the things you do for people, selflessly, you know? There's lots of ways to look at that, but I just think he has it in his head that people hate him because he's got money. And that's just stupid. That's not even correct at all.
There's room for everyone to eat in this sport, trust me.
I think it's a massive, not issue, but yeah, I would say, you know, like a 1 to 1.1, somewhere in there. You know, again, if Jake and I met in LA, I would just do a homicide if I wanted to.
Most likely.
I was impressed by the fact that Jake, as a 24-year-old, is able to convince a whole team of grown men to do a cheer with him. That was tremendous.
It's called a team, a family, something that you don't have.
Ben has a real family. He's got a wife and kids and moms and dads and uncles. And he's got a family, brother. He's a grown-up. He's got a real family. He doesn't have a bunch of yes men that wear your merch and just say yes to everything that you do because they're afraid of being dropped from your little vlog squad. So what's my take on the result of this fight? Well, I think you guys probably have guessed already. I think between Jake Paul and Ben Askren, the winner is Ben Askren. I just can't ignore the fact that Ben Askren has 19 victories against real fighters. I think that's the big thing for me. I know the big detraction from that, what people would say that Ben doesn't have the ability to fight with his hands, and he doesn't have the same boxing prowess that Jake Paul does. But people are forgetting MMA is still a hand sport. It's hands and feet and grappling and all those great things. So if you're able to beat 19 guys in the MMA world who are rounded, complete fighters, I think, and also you've gone the distance and you're used to fighting in later rounds, I just think you have an advantage over somebody who's fought 3 people from YouTube. I just don't see any way, unless Jake catches him and gets lucky, like Naspadal or I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. But I just can't see Jake. I just can't see Jake persevering in this one. I really hope that it's fast. But I don't think it'll be. I think it'll be a grind, and I think Askren will wear him down, get him in the corner, and dirty box him. So that's what I think is going to happen. I just want to say thank you guys for watching. If you got this far, I really hope you would click like and subscribe. I'm a new YouTuber, and it would mean a lot to me. So thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.